home run segment of Breakfast Show on Cool City FM 92.9 with your God's Gift on Radio, Onyinye Onovo. Well, we will be looking at something I find quite interesting, probably because of the times that we have found ourselves in. So today, we would be focusing on an immensely important and sensitive topic. Yes, suicide prevention amidst rising hardship in the country, in the world at large, but specifically in the country. And we know that as the country grapples with increasing economic challenges, mental health issues and suicide rates have been on the rise. Yes, we have reports here and there. So today, we delve into this critical issue to raise awareness, to offer support, and explore strategies for prevention and intervention. And this is a follow-up of 2024 Suicide Day, which was marked on the 10th of September 2024. And we have the theme, Start the Conversation, Changing the Narrative on Suicide. Start the Conversation, Changing the Narrative on Suicide. That was the theme for this year's celebration. Is it a celebration? Something that was marked, at least, to put people on the know. But then we still have in the studio our guest, our resource person, Mr. Jude Odelibe. He is the National Coordinator, Family Peace and Progress Initiative, and he will be helping us, understand these things better. Good to know you're still here, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's find out, can you provide an overview of the current situation regarding suicide rates in Nigeria, particularly in relation to the rising levels of hardship that we are experiencing in the country?
Okay, thank you. Looking at, before now, we say that suicide is increasing among the youths, but right now, it has cut across the borders, both the adults, the youths, mothers, fathers, all of them are now craving to leave this earth and join their ancestors by taking their own lives. Checking out why this thing has become so important to the UN that they have to bring out a day to mark. That was 10th of September annually, to mark this very day, creating awareness of this very suicide and all things surrounding it. But this year, we looking at from the point where you came from, asking me the rate within the context, it is estimated that over 1 million people died by suicide annually. And you can imagine what this number gives in the entire population. Among these people that we are talking about are men of class, not just paupers, not just people who have nothing to contribute, but many of them were losing caliber, men of timber and caliber, because maybe they are unable to hold on to something. By the time we delve more, we'll be talking about what may have brought about someone thinking of taking his or her life. But in a nutshell, suicide is about one taking off his own life, not just another person taking your life, but you deciding to take your life because you feel you can no longer cope with the things happening. And the number is increasing on a daily basis, and that's why the need to start the conversation now is very important and crucial. I appreciate Cool City FM for bringing it up, and also I thank you for bringing me on board to also talk about it. So we delve into it today, and we'll look at it critically and see how we can help people to curb this menace.
Okay, so before we get to that, because it's always good to find out the problems that we are facing or confronting us, and then chart the way forward. I'd like to find out. I understand that times are hard and it's no longer a walk in the park, but let's find out, how do you think economic challenges or financial burdens contribute to the mental health, faced by Nigerians? I'm saying Nigerians because we are all Nigerians and we are in Nigeria. How do you think these things contribute, potentially leading to thoughts of suicide? Is it that hope has finally dissipated? We don't see it anymore. One of those lines that we used to say growing up, even today, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Is it that they are no longer seeing that light in their head? So what can possibly make one decide to end his life?
Okay, the truth of the matter is that there is still light at the end of the tunnel. There is still hope for the hopeless. There is help for the helpless. But for these people, they believed that there's no more hope. There's nothing to believe on. There's nothing to hold on to. Now, one of my customers then, while I was in the bank, would tell me that money works with the blood. The moment he wakes up and there's no money in his pocket, he feels that there's nothing again to hope on. There's nothing again. I was like, you don't say it that way because you don't have the money today, you have it tomorrow. And the fact that you don't have money in your pocket now does not mean that there's no money. You may have things that's worth more than money, but because you don't have the physical cash doesn't mean you cannot raise the cash if you want to raise it from what you have. And that's for that customer. Now, looking at it at this stage, at this point in time in the economy today, what we are facing today, you look at it, it's as if the government has failed us. The people around you can no longer believe in you, can no longer trust you. You're worth nothing before people. There's bullying here and there. People in the school, the children are being bullied, and segregation here and there. You talk about racism and all what have you. So all these things are all contributing factors. Then you will now come back to, apart from, if these things are not happening to you, you come back to your house, you're going back to the house, you don't have food in the house, you don't have the money to buy this food, and there's no hope on who to call, there's no help coming from anywhere. So one after all this, maybe a graduate, you have graduated, your parents trained you all through the school with expectation that now as you graduate that you become a help to us. You are still eating mommy, thank my daddy, thanks her. And the parents are saying, is it that you cannot get something to do? So all these things, even when you move from here to there looking in search of job, you come there, they will tell you they need people with 5 years, 10 years experience. This is someone that just came out from the school. From where would he or her get the experience? Is it not when he start working that he will start getting the experience? Nobody wants to start training fresh people. All these things contribute to the mental instability of the young people and even the old ones. Because as a man that is working, you're relieved of your duty without, just because the economy is harsh on the company, and you come to work the next day, they say that they are downsizing because they can no longer pay the salary of all these people. And this person you're telling we are downsizing and giving him termination or retirement letter is the breadwinner of his house or his family. So by the time you calculate, where do I start? And the country is paying their employees so much that each time you look around, you have enough money in your account and in your pocket that even if you lose your job today, you can still sustain yourself for the next 1 year before you get another. Ironically, you get what I mean? Yep. So when you look at all these things, you discover that when this person will calculate, when I get to the house, what do I tell my children? What do I tell my wife? My wife is even waiting for me to come back so that she'll go to the market and buy something to eat.
It's okay. I like the angle that you have just come from. But I'm going to be on another page now, because it's not just about people. Also know that there are some big shots, some big men, some big women who could also be going through, and we hear them over and again taking their lives. Very recently, I think it was sometime in June, either June or July. It was the former Konga CEO. Yes, we heard about that of the banker, and we heard about Nick. We heard about Nick Imudia. That's the CEO who also took his life. You wouldn't say that he is hungry. You wouldn't say that he was hungry, or that you wouldn't say that he was hungry, or that he didn't have anything or couldn't afford anything that he needed. But then he took his life. So I'm just wondering, what could be the common one is struggling with suicidal thoughts or mental health issues amid the prevailing hardships in the country?
Okay, thank you. Most times, all these people committing suicide have been showing signs, but people around may not be paying attention to the happenings around them. That is why when you see someone with suicidal intentions, you see the person first. Most of the times, they'll start withdrawing from public domain. They'll start keeping to themselves. Each time, when you see someone with suicidal intentions, you see the person first. Most of the times, they'll start withdrawing from public domain. They'll start keeping to themselves. Each time death, and then it's not better one die and get and have their rest. So each people with such intentions will always talk about, they will intentionally tell you what they have not seen. But if people,
but they won't say it
directly. Yes, they won't say it directly. But if we are paying attention to happenings around us, especially the family members and friends who always communicate with these people, you discover that there are certain things that are changing in that individual. If you put at that point, you may have caught that idea in that individual. But because everybody seems to be too busy, everybody seems to be so occupied, mental distress is so much. Like in the case of all these big shots that you mentioned or we're talking about now, some of them may be as a result of pressure in the place of work. You are not meeting your target, and you are being threatened to be sacked. And at that level, if you're sacked, how do you go? You are not meeting your target, and you are being threatened to be sacked. And at that level, if you're sacked, how do you go? Where or what have you? It may be mentally sound or financially sound, but at the family level, coming back is meeting troubles here and there. He's coming back, is being pressured on this or that. Maybe someone, you got married, your wife has not delivered, you're in love with your wife. Other family members are telling you, go and get another wife for yourself. And you're saying you don't want it. The pressure is coming. So all these things are all the things that may lead to. Then you may also see in your office, you're being bullied. Your boss is looking for one thing to gain from you, or those around you are looking for what to gain from you. They are pressurizing you, and it's either you do this or you lose your job. Instead of succumbing to that pressure, you decide to let me leave this world for them and let them enjoy it. So these are some of the things in the workplace. It is there. School environment, it is there. Even in the family, it is also there.
So in other words, you are saying we should try to be a little more sensitive to the people around us, even in the workplace,
exactly.
And be a little more kind, because you don't know who is going through what at any point in time. Okay, so let's find out. I know that the Family Peace and Progress Initiative is an NGO, even though that's not what we're discussing, curbing the spate of suicide in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you. We registered our NGO. Our focus was on the family. That's why we call it Family Peace and Progress Initiative. We understand that for their society, there must be a better family. Because each and every one of us came from that smaller unit called family. I'm trained in the family with good morals. It will be so hard to deviate from the standards set at the family, irrespective of the happenings. Now, thinking about that, we know that so many people or so many families don't even have time for what is happening in their parents. Don't have time for what is happening in their family. So you see children going on their own separate ways, parents going on their separate ways. Many a times, some of these families are into domestic violence. So we, first of all, took an initiative that city campaign against domestic violence, child abuse, suicide, and rape. These are major things that have been taking away lives and making rape is also one of the major causes of this kind of depression, and then one will decide, I don't want to live with this stigma. The person will. So when we looked at all this holistically, we inaugurated this, and ever since then, we have been taking the campaign one after the other, going from one city to the other, schools and the other things, campaigning against this menace, making it known that it is a social ill and should be avoided as much as possible. Okay. In the family areas, we went ahead to the extent of giving some of the children our contacts. We intervene in domestic violence. If we have any traces of domestic violence, we intervene immediately, because that is a major cause of the problems we are facing today. The children will not be properly taken care of, and it is believed that a child trained under domestic violence is more violent than their parents. So if you want to curb a fight, you must first of all stop the pointing of accusing fingers. That's an Igbo adage. For you to separate a fight, you don't wait for the fight to start. You first of all separate when they are pointing, accusing fingers, and then raising their voices. Because if you allow the fight to start, you may mediate at that time. You'll be an injured person. They may break your head. So that is why we at the NGO, we took it upon ourselves. We campaign against these odds, and we also mediate. If you get to our page, you see all we do there is about all this. So we kept on. We use social media. We use media houses. In fact, my first time coming to Coast City was on the campaign. When we are planning on our campaigns, we will visit. We will have town hall meetings. We will have other avenues through which we campaign against this.
I like the fact that you are doing something about it, but then how do you get others or encourage others to also begin to do what you are doing already? Because a lot of people don't even know that they are going through hard times. But you see them, because it's bottled up, they begin to bleed on others. You see them, they are not nice, they are mean, they spill bitter juices all around, and not being sensitive to the people around them as well. So what do you think the roles of a media can be, education, advocacy groups can play in raising awareness about suicide prevention, health support? Let's talk about support now. Let's talk about support services in the country. Can we get one? I know you've mentioned your own, and are there ones around that we can also look at? And how can one know that he has suicide tendencies? Remember when we were doing, before the newspaper review segment, I read some newspaper headlines and I said, if not for my job, I wouldn't have been reading this one. I want to protect my mental health. I don't want anything that will just get me edgy and all of that. So let's get it from you.
Okay. The truth of the matter is that we are not alone, but we don't have many doing it. In fact, even as individuals, we should be involved. At government levels, we should be involved. And the truth of the matter with which we are moving is being jeopardized for lack of funds. I personally fund everything we do. So you can imagine at this critical time as well in the country, it is not easy. So, but definitely we keep on moving. Now, the media houses should join this campaign. It is not, yes, I know every establishment is for profit maximization. But at times, if those people that will give you the business that will make you to maximize profit keeps dying in numbers, how many people will give you the business? So it is already. Yeah. So ever since we started that campaign, I've been coming to this studio. I give it to you because each time there's anything that has to do with
for
I each time that there's anything that has to do with family, suicide, domestic violence, Coast City will always invite me. I've been to this station for more than 10 times on this same issue. So I appreciate what you're doing. And I encourage other radio stations out there, media houses out there, to follow suit. It mustn't be me. Just get someone, a resource person that can talk about all this. Let's create the awareness. People will know, be sensitive about it. There are some people that will be around you because you've been, the awareness of how you can dictate someone that is passing through. The person may not have the tendency of suicide at that moment, but mental illness at that moment, mental instability at that moment, if not caught, may lead to suicide attempt or even suicide action. So if we are able to identify or know how to identify people with such tendencies, it will help you to also know how to approach. And when you're approaching someone that is withdrawing from people, you don't just confront that person and say, what do you think you're doing? You must be empathic about what you're doing. Be passionate about that person. Put yourself in that person's shoe and talk from your mind, not just trying to blow grammar.
Thank you so much. I like that part a lot. It's not when you bring up your whip, you want to flog that person into actions or whatever. It's time to be empathetic and then find out what's going on. Because I think it was Shakespeare that said that there is no axe to find the mind's construction on the face. Yeah. So for you to know what one is thinking, you must be very close to the person and subtly, strategically find it out. We're gradually coasting home, but before we let you go, we'd like to find out, are there messages of hope? What message of hope and resilience would you like to share with us? And indeed, our listener, as we navigate these difficult times and strive to prioritize mental health and well-being across Nigeria.
Honestly, I want to tell you out there that you're not alone on this. It is a global issue. Whatever it is that is happening now will surely come to an end, and things will definitely get better. Don't ever think of taking your life because you are not the maker of that life. The truth of the matter is that we don't know how close we are to our breakthrough when we are giving up. Don't give up. Trust God. Then on the side of government, don't overlook our people. The little thing you can do for that individual is to empower his skills. I'm not here to talk about what we're doing, but if you understand what it means to identify the talent in an individual and empowering that individual with that talent, that is what he has passion for. You don't just for someone that wants to be a musician, you're giving him money to go and cook or start cooking okpa and selling. The person will never do well with that. If you find out what that person is passionate about, support that person. Even if it means I am giving you this money to start up, you refund it at the end of the day. These are the hopes that people want to hear. This is that, or even organize a kind of symposium and see what people are capable of doing. Then you can take it off from there. One person at a time. You must not give it out to everybody at the same time. If you empower one person and mandate that one person to empower another person, by that the multiplying effect will be there. So, but if everybody relaxes and said it is nobody's business, at the end of the day, it will be all of our businesses. Because if he decides not to take his life, because at the moment he's frustrated. If you come closer and misbehave, he will take you down. After he's determined to die, the government will now help him to die, because once he kills, he will definitely end up in jail and maybe die as well. So you have helped him to die. Meanwhile, another person have gone down. So it is our collective responsibility. But the message there is that there is still hope. Let's not give up.
Thank you so much, sir. There is still hope. You don't have any reason to give up. If you're down and out today, be hopeful, okay? It can only get better. I'm sure you hear a lot of people say that. Find a reason to cling on to life and then do the things you have to do and see that you keep moving. For me, doing something new gives me a push and it makes me feel younger. So why don't you try something new? Pursue a new stuff, a new passion, and then go on about it and see how far you can go and have life revived in you. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Jude Odelibe, the National Coordinator, Family Peace and Progress Initiative. Thank you for sharing your time and your thoughts with us.
You're welcome.
When we call again, please do oblige.
Sure.
All right, then. Thank you so much for being a part of Breakfast Show this beautiful Thursday morning, as produced by Jude Obu. Special salutations to you. Special salutations to everyone that listened. Joy Chivoke has been with me since morning. We're on the same shift together, actually, and would like to thank you very much for being a part of it. But then I'd like to appreciate our General Manager, Joy Ovitulasa, who is the supervisor of Breakfast Show, Coast City Breakfast Show, and then, of course, the executive producer, Mr. Ike Chukwueze, that's the zonal director, FRCN Enugu National Station. Well, I'm Onyinye Onovo. Make sure you do have yourself a very productive day. Good morning to you.